This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We are on a job today in High Point. So let's take a look at what we got going on. So this backyard, so we have a ton of water coming from here, and it comes under the fence, and it just turns this into a huge pond right here. And then as soon as this pond fills up, it heads this way and then washes out along down the yard there. So we are going to put in a high capacity French drain across here. We're going to put 2 perforated pipes, and we're going to dig it about 30 inches wide. So it's a little bit more than we usually do. The other thing we've got going on is water from this back neighbor here just washes across here. And so you can kind of see right there. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. So right here, the water just stands right here and then floods right across here and floods across their backyard. So we are going to take the water, or we're going to take the dirt that comes out of the French drain, and we're going to pack it along this fence here. Try to build this up into a little bit more of a berm to keep the water. So eventually, sometimes the water goes this way too. So if we can just kind of help it get directed that way and out of this yard, that's what we're going to do. So just tons and tons of water back here. And it's been raining the last couple days, so things are pretty wet. So we're going to try to get this done today for them and see how we do. Take a look at these pictures that the homeowner sent me, and these are pretty much showing just exactly how much water is sitting right there up against the fence. And so here's another view. You can see what that, once it fills up against the fence, it starts to flow across the backyard here. And look at those brand new steps. They had to replace the steps because so much water was going through there that it destroyed the old steps. And so this is what we're trying to fix here. Check out this video that I shot the day I went out to do the quote for the customer. So this is the front yard here at the driveway, and take a look at all the water that's just standing right here. And so this is the water that's coming from behind the fence in the backyard there. And the homeowner's telling me that the water is just flowing across the backyard, and just the driveway's flooding, everything's flooding back there. And so the whole yard is just really flooded right there. And do you know where it's coming from on your neighbor's side?
Well, it seems to run straight. Yeah, we'll have to think in if we could see over there first. You might be able to.
Because it seems like they're getting a whole lot over here too.
Yeah, because I mean I can see it all.
And it kind of runs along the fence and then here.
Yeah, This is the low point here.
Just put it under the bucket. There you go. How's that, boss man? Lynn wasn't available today. glorious day in the drainage business.
Except this weekend.
Why?
Job's on the weekend.
Oh, you're not working this weekend?
I'm planning with the wife.
Ah.
These are set.
So you guys are gonna bring her?
Oh! Yeah, no. No! Ah! I don't really...
Not with that attitude. I just finished digging this trench, so I wanted to take a minute and talk about what's going on here. So the first thing is we're hitting dry dirt right here. And so if you look here, we have some really, really wet dirt right up in this area. And then pretty quick we get into some dry dirt. So that means you're in a good spot for a French drain because the water is not going down into the ground. It's stopping by this layer here of impermeable dirt. So you can see right there. The other thing that's happening is this trench is starting to fill up with water. And so what this trench represents in a French drain is it represents a low point where the water is going to flow through the gravel and then it will fill up the trench and then it will flood into the holes on the pipe and it will go downhill. So this should be a pretty good spot for a French drain.
Boss,
Yep.
can I buy you a bottle of water again, Ray?
No, I'm good. The same thing is going on up here by the fence. This thing is just filling up with water. So that's a good sign. That means that we're going to be collecting the water into the trench and sending it out of here with our pipe. So we've got really, really good fall down to the curb there. And so the homeowner said that there's a tremendous amount of water coming across here. So I dug the trench a little bit wider than normal. I did 30 inches instead of 24, and we are going to place 2 perforated pipes in there, double the capacity. So we should be able to move a ton of water with that. Look here. Look at that water flowing through there. Oh, here it comes. So look at all that water flowing through there. That's a good sign. We put down a first layer of gravel here, and then we get our pipe leveled where we want it. And the first layer of gravel makes it easy to level it. We want that pipe fairly level, just falling just a little bit. And so we spend a lot of time trying to get this right with our French drain when we're setting it. It was kind of tricky starting out with this trench because right there at the gate, I had to trench pretty deep to get the fall that I wanted, but I got through it okay. And the HOA was pretty strict over here, so they only allowed for 1 pipe to come through the curb. So you'll see that coming up later in the video. Alright, we've made a little bit of progress here. We've got both of our pieces of perforated pipe in here. We've got them just kind of stabilized with some gravel. And these things are just barely falling. Just about a 1/16 of a bubble right there. And so we've got that going the whole way. And then, so there's just barely a 1/16 of a bubble. And over here we're getting into our Y. And then we're transitioning into solid. Once we get out of the French drain, we're going to aggressively fall. So you can see now we're at a full bubble there, right there on that coupling, or that Y. We are just about finished up for today. We got to get some more gravel in here. So there's our outfall. And now originally I had said we would catch these two gutters right here. But when I showed up this morning, the homeowner said that the husband didn't want to do that. So he was worried about the gas line being right there, and he was worried about us tearing up more of the yard. So we didn't do that, although anytime you're running a pipe by a gutter, you might as well get it. So that's what the homeowners wanted. So here is our French drain, and we probably need another couple tons of gravel, so we'll get that done tomorrow. So we did 2 independent legs of perforated pipe there, and there's our 2 clean outs. And so we're going to leave our board set up for tomorrow, because we'll be back here tomorrow. We got this little low spot filled in here, and then critically we got this berm built up on the back side over here. So this is hopefully going to stop the water from flooding across the neighbor and make it go along the fence here. And once it gets to this point, it's pretty good to go. So we're just getting cleaned up now. We are back out here on this job. It's the next day, and we had to get some more gravel. So here's where we're at. We just need to top off a little bit of gravel here, and we will be finished with this job. So I wanted to show you what just arrived last night, which would have been super nice to have yesterday. So we finally got my concrete buggy, and this thing would have made much easier work of moving all that dirt around instead of using those wheelbarrows. But it showed up last night at 8:30 p.m. so we're going to give it a try with gravel today. There you go, dump it. are finished with this job, so we're just getting loaded up, and let me show you how things turned out. Alright, so there's our French drain. So we went all the way to the fence with gravel. We thought that would look a little bit more deliberate. And we've got our two cleanouts right here. Of course, we drill holes in those to vent it. So the homeowner is super excited about it and really likes the work we did. Over here we got this berm built up with the extra dirt. And so we also filled in this low spot right here. Everything's still pretty wet and mushy, but we built up this little berm right here across. So that should stop that water. The water was just coming through here and just running like a river. And some of it would go that way. So the berm here is to try to redirect the water from the neighbor and get all of it to go that way. Whereas before, just a little bit of it went that way. Most of it came and washed across here and all the way across the driveway. So, can't wait to get back here in the rain and see how it's doing. This is Sean. It is the next day and I'm back out here on this job to check on this. It's been raining for probably about 2 hours now. And so let's take a look. So there's our run from our French drain, and here's our outfall. So take a look at that. Look at all that water. So keep in mind, that's all water that used to be landing in their backyard, washing across under their stairs, across their backyard, and then across their driveway. Oh, before we take a look at the back, I want to look over here. So this is doing the same thing it's always been doing, just filling up with water. And what it used to do is it used to just wash across here. And so let's take a look at what this side looks like, which is a pond right there, and then what the French drain looks like. So look at that difference. Look at that. Oh, okay. The water just a second ago was running across here, and I just pushed my boot right in there. And look at that French drain taking that water. So that's exactly why we don't use filter fabric. And that's why we use tons and tons of gravel, because the water just gushes through the gravel. Now, if this water was trying to make its way through filter fabric and everything else and into a pipe, it just wouldn't be flowing that well. And so that's why we don't use filter fabric, because it clogs up too fast. I wanted to show you this back area too here and see if our berm was doing what it's supposed to. So look at all that water right there. So that's what the berm is supposed to be doing, is keeping that water out of here. All right, I just talked to the homeowner and she's very, very happy. She couldn't believe how much water was coming out of that pipe earlier today during the rainstorm. And so she's really, really happy with the results. And now that the backyard is stabilized, now she can move on and start doing some stuff that she wants to do. Now that she's not worried about water coming through here all the time and washing things away. Look at that, still just flowing right through there. Pretty cool. So it's pretty much stopped raining now. It's barely sprinkling a little bit. And look at all the water still coming through there. So that's what this French drain is supposed to do. It's supposed to give that water a easy path out of here. Instead of that water just hanging in the backyard after a big rain and during the big rain washing across, now that water is being diverted out here. It's being collected by the French drain and being delivered to the curb here by our solid pipe there. So that's exactly how a French drain is supposed to work for collecting and draining non-point water sources like the neighbors.